So in the previous section, we talked about operating working capital. We calculate our operating working capital and we calculate the changes in operating working capital, right, as a bonus in that video. But we did it because we are still going to need it. So instead of repeating or coming back to read later and do the calculations, I will rather do it right here. So that is what we did. Now in this section, we are going to be talking about the funding, which is going to be the loan schedule. It's going to be the loan schedule. So what we are going to do now, we are going to link our loan. So you put your equal to sign, then you go to your input. Sorry, I'm very fast. That's because I don't want to make the video too long. So you go to your input. If you go to your input, now locate where you have the loan. Now link the loan. So when you link the loan, what is in the loan period? Our loan period also going to go to your input, put your equals to, go to input. Now when you go to your input, your loan period is 4 years. Now because there is a kind of consistency in that loan period, I can just drag. You already know the drill here, so you can just say here now they are linked. You can now say Alt H G. You can click link, put them on link format. So that is it. So this you can format it and put it as a percentage, right? So as a percentage, the interest rate is 10%. So this is our loan amount. We just linked it. So here I'll now say okay, this multiplied by this linked, I'll now bring it forwards. I want to put absolute referencing, saying that this is going to take precedent directly from this place. So absolute referencing means you put a dollar sign in front before the F, the alphabet, and before the numbers, right? That is in front of the alphabet, which is F. So let's press this, and you also say click and drag it further. Click and drag it further. So what happened if there is no reference? What happened if we did not put this absolute referencing? What happened if you did not put this reference? This is what is going to happen. It's not going to take anything, right? So that is why the absolute referencing is important. So once you do that, you just equal to, put your absolute reference and drag further. So you can see it now. You can just put your link style. When you put your link style, so here is the ending balance. The ending balance, you put the total sign, total style. Now this is what we're going to do. This is what you're going to do. Do we have a new loan? Yes, we have a new loan, right? We have a new loan, and the loan is how much? Is this amount. So you just say okay. Now here, remember that the opening balance for any period is the closing balance for the previous period. So what you're going to do is say equal to, and I'll say this, because there's no value there, is going to give us 0, right? So that's it. Now here you're going to put the formula later, but here now what you're going to do, you're going to say it's going to be the summation of these two, summation of the opening balance and the new loan, then minus the repayment, of the loan we are going to be making. You're going to see how to calculate that. So once you do that, you can just click and drag it forward. Here too, you can just click and drag it forward, right? You can click and drag it forward. So we have been able to set this like this. So the next thing we are going to be looking at, we're going to now calculate our interest. So when we calculate our interest, we now see now our interest expense is how much. So we're going to now determine our interest expense is going to be the average. It's going to be the average of the opening balance and the new loan, then multiply by the interest rate. So we're going to say equals to average average of these two, that's the opening balance and the new loan, close bracket, multiply by the interest rate, then you press enter. So this is our interest expense. This is what we're going to take to our income statement, right? Now let's now see how do we now determine our repayment? Because at the end of our repayment, we should be able to get the same amount of loan we receive. So that is what we are going to do right now. So you can come somewhere here. In case we have a loan, we collected loan for a particular number of periods, and we want to make sure that we capture all this. So what we are going to do is we are going to say, okay, equals to sum, open bracket, everything that is under the loans column, close bracket. You say enter. Now we have this as a value. Now we're going to come back and say, okay, now we want to calculate our interest. We want to calculate our repayment. So normally in Excel we have a function that enables us to calculate our repayment. So what we are going to do is we are going to say equals to what is it again? Equal to, what's the formula again, self? Repayment, payment. PMT. Now if you look at the definitions here, it's giving us clue. Okay, once you put this formula, this is what it's going to show you. Say rate, what is the rate of the interest? Now the rate of the interest is 5.5%. then comma, what is the number of period? The number of period is 4 years. Then you click on the 4 years, comma, what is the present value of the interest? That's this one that we calculated. Now once you're done with that, you can just close the bracket and say okay. Now let's see what happens here. We are seeing this in negative because it's a repayment, and we don't want it actually to be in negative form. So what are we going to do? What we're going to do, we're going to put an absolute absolute formula in it so that you remove the negative sign. So what you're going to do now, you say absolute ABS, then you come to the front and add this. Now you can see it has removed the negative sign, and we have something like this. So let's make sure we are doing the right thing. Yes, we are doing the right thing. You can see we are now on it. Now the next thing we are going to do is, this is not what we are going to actually pay at the end, but there is a formula we're still going to use to calculate, to determine our repayment. So what we're going to do, we're going to use the minimum formula. So what it means is that once you put this equal to sign, in this equal to sign, you now say it's going to be equals to minimum as a mean sign, open bracket, this the calculated repayment that we are going to be making. Then put your absolute referencing. When you do that, you say minus this amount that we are going to be paying, that's our interest expense, minus our interest expense, comma, then the opening balance. So the opening balance, when you do that, you will now close the bracket. Yeah, this is what we have. So this is calculation. You can just drag it forward. Now you can see that at the end of the period, we still have the same amount or the same value of the loan collected. Now look at it here, look at the sum. We still have the same value of the loan collected. So the loan is supposed to be for 4 years, and you can see once the loan is spread, we have exactly that at the end. So that is why it is important you should know how to calculate your loan properly, so that you know how much you are repaying as interest and how much you are repaying as loan. So talk about the amortization section later. If you want to learn how to calculate loan separately using amortization table, so you see how this is applied. Remember that all what we are doing here, we're trying to integrate it into the accounting setup, right? We're trying to integrate into accounting setup. So if you want to learn how the spread and to know how much you are paying as interest and how much you are repaying as the loan for each period, that is what we are going to do. So now we have our interest expense and we have our loan repayment amount every year. In the next section, we are going to talk about how to calculate our own equity. We're going to talk about the equity schedule too. So in the next session, please, if you have not subscribed, again, this is another opportunity for you to say thank you for the good work you are doing for us. Thank you, we appreciate you. And if you have a comment, if you have any challenges, or if you have any model you want us to build at all, don't forget we are always here for you. You can drop it in the comment section. We're going to respond to you, and we're going to give you a shout out once that problem has been solved, and we're going to post it here. You'll be the first person to be tagged to that, and I wish that you're going to be doing me the favor right now and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Shout out to every one of you that has keep on returning to this channel for this and continue support. We really appreciate you. See you in the next section.